So America is trying to end the Ukraine war, but it seems to be stirring new tensions in the East. The Trump administration has made a bold move on Taiwan. It has signaled support for an independent Taiwan. The US State Department has updated its website. It has published a new fact sheet on Taiwan. Now, first things first, what is a fact sheet? Think of it as a background note, a document that provides an overview of a country from the American perspective. And this story is about the American fact sheet on Taiwan. The earlier versions of it had a phrase, "We do not support Taiwan independence." That's what it said. The US State Department fact sheet, "We do not support Taiwan independence." But now this specific line has been removed, and that is quite significant. Remember, the US policy on Taiwan has always been ambiguous. Their law says America must defend Taiwan if China attacks the island. But Washington has never made it clear whether and how this will be implemented, whether they would send American troops to defend Taiwan or use other means like diplomatic or economic means. Like I said, it is ambiguous. Officially, the US supports the One China policy, which is also China's official line and excuse to target Taiwan. The One China policy views Taiwan as part of China. It basically says there is only one China and Taiwan is a part of it. That is the policy. And the new State Department fact sheet still mentions one China. But it also talks about Taiwan's independence and defense. The US also sells arms to Taiwan. And now the Trump administration is stepping up support. It is shifting the US position on some fronts, showing more support to Taiwan and ending some of the ambiguity. The US is expanding military cooperation. It has added a new reference to the State Department fact sheet. It talks about what it calls a Pentagon project. The Pentagon, as you would know, is the US Defense Ministry. It is working on a semiconductor development project. And Taiwan is supporting this initiative. And that's what the fact sheet says, that Taiwan is cooperating with the United States on this. Washington is also expanding diplomatic support. It wants to support Taipei's membership to international organizations. That's something that China is strongly opposed to. Remember, this had become a big issue during the early days of the pandemic. In 2020, there were calls for Taiwan to be included in the WHO, the World Health Organization. Taiwan was among the first to sound an alarm about the outbreak in Wuhan, but Beijing blocked Taiwan's participation. It doesn't want Taiwan to have an independent seat at international forums. Now, America has set the stage for a showdown. It has pledged diplomatic support. It wants to help Taipei get a seat at the diplomatic high table. The US hasn't spelled out the specifics, but Taipei has welcomed these broader shifts in American policy. Of course, China won't like any of it. Xi Jinping sees Taiwan as a quote-unquote inseparable part of China. He calls the island a breakaway province, one that will eventually be reunited with the mainland. So expect a strong pushback from Beijing.
The revision of the fact sheet on US-Taiwan relations by the US State Department, which seriously regressed its position on Taiwan-related issues, seriously violated the One China principle and the 3 Sino-US joint communiques, seriously violated international law and basic norms of international relations, and sent a serious wrong signal to the Taiwan independence separatist forces. This is another example of the U.S. side's stubborn adherence to the wrong policy of using Taiwan to contain China.
At a time when tensions are growing in the Taiwan Strait, American and Canadian ships have been spotted near the island. Last week, the U.S. Navy sailed through the strait. Yesterday, a Canadian warship took the same route. China was quick to condemn Canada. It also dispatched 24 aircraft. They conducted patrols around Taiwan. This kind of military adventurism from the PLA has become routine. Chinese warships and aircraft are spotted near Taiwan almost every day, and now Donald Trump has made new moves, which are sure to invite Chinese reactions, most likely in the form of more military pressure on Taipei. And while strong diplomatic backing for Taiwan is important, it must be matched with greater military preparedness and deterrence on the ground. We do hope that Taipei is ready for the challenge ahead. We are calling this show Vantage. We hope you like what we've put together for you. And touted as the minimum defense from that that video. India's neighbors were the first to send the special edition of Vantage live from the White House throughout this week. Yes, Hindu Mandir in we're on our way to Tel Aviv. City measure, but it's also the perfect way to drive.
I don't think that
Prime Minister of Bhutan, Sherin Tagwe. Welcome to
60% of the world's
office. Prime Minister Modi did the iron.
we were actually
How are you doing? How do you like? It's been 1 year since that meeting. Iron bars separate you from the outside. Out the vote effort. Trump had, it says, and at $4.3 trillion. 4.3 300 billion by 2030. That's what we need to tackle climate change.